The night in Seattle was electric. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Game 5 of the ALCS between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. The air was thick with tension, and fans from both sides filled T-Mobile Park with a mix of nervous anticipation and hope. Every pitch, every swing, every catch carried the weight of a season's dream. The Mariners were trying to punch their ticket to the World Series for the first time in franchise history, while the Blue Jays were looking to return to the Fall Classic after years of heartbreak. From the very first inning, the energy was different. The Blue Jays starter, Kevin Gausman, came out firing, painting corners with precision. His fastball had late life, and his splitter kept hitters guessing. But the Mariners lineup, led by Julio Rodriguez, wasn't about to back down. On a 2-1 pitch, Rodriguez launched a leadoff double to left center, igniting the crowd into a frenzy. It was a statement. Seattle wasn't going quietly. Moments later, with one out, Ty France stepped up and ripped a sharp single through the infield, scoring Rodriguez easily from second. The Mariners drew first blood, 1-0, and the building erupted. Gausman took a deep breath, composed himself, and struck out the next two batters to limit the damage. It was only one run, but the tone had been set. In the top of the second, Toronto's lineup began to respond. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. led off with a single, a laser up the middle that reminded everyone why he's one of the game's most dangerous hitters. Then came Bo Bichette, the heart of the Jays' offense. On the first pitch he saw, he turned on an inside fastball and drove it deep to left. The crowd held its breath as the ball carried toward the wall, and just like that, it was gone. A 2-run homer. The Blue Jays were on top, 2-1. The visitors' dugout erupted in celebration, but they knew this was only the beginning of a long, grueling night. The Mariners had battled all season, known for their late-game comebacks and never-say-die spirit. The energy didn't fade, not for a moment. In the bottom of the third, the Mariners struck back. After a leadoff walk, J.P. Crawford worked a 10-pitch at-bat before lining a double off the right field wall. With runners on second and third, Cal Raleigh, nicknamed Big Dumper by fans, stepped into the box. The crowd roared, chanting his name. On a hanging splitter, he didn't miss. A towering fly ball to right field carried into the stands, a 3-run homer. Seattle roared back to life, now leading 4-2. The momentum had shifted again. The fans could feel it, even the air seemed to vibrate. Toronto's bench stayed focused, though. They'd been here before, battle-tested and resilient. In the top of the fifth, Matt Chapman sparked a rally with a double down the line. After a walk to Alejandro Kirk, George Springer delivered a clutch single to center, driving in Chapman. The Jays were inching closer, 4-3. But the Mariners' bullpen, one of the most dominant units all season, was waiting. Manager Scott Servais knew he had arms like Andres Munoz and Matt Brash ready to shut the door. Still, the Blue Jays' offense refused to go quietly. In the top of the seventh, with one out and a runner on, Bo Bichette came through again. He turned around a 99-mile-per-hour heater from Brash and lined it into the gap for another RBI double. The score was tied, 4-4, and the energy from the Blue Jays' dugout spilled onto the field. Toronto fans behind the dugout waved flags, chanting, "Let's go Jays!" While Mariners fans countered with louder cheers of their own. The tension was unbearable. Every pitch felt like it could decide the game. Both bullpens traded zeros through the eighth inning, each reliever stepping into the moment with ice-cold nerves. Then came the ninth, and chaos. With 2 outs in the top of the ninth, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. came to the plate. The crowd stood, a mix of boos and awe. Guerrero had been quiet since his first hit, but everyone knew he could change the game with one swing. On a 2-0 count, Munoz challenged him with a fastball up and in, and Vlad Jr. crushed it. The ball rocketed into the night sky, clearing the left field fence with authority. A solo home run. 5-4 Blue Jays. Guerrero stared toward his dugout, pounding his chest as his teammates poured out in celebration. But the Mariners weren't done yet. They'd been the kings of the comeback all year, and they weren't about to fold at home. In the bottom of the ninth, closer Jordan Romano took the mound for Toronto. The Canadian right-hander, calm and confident, had a mission: 3 outs to send the Jays to the World Series. The first batter, Cal Raleigh, worked a full count and then drew a walk. The crowd roared back to life. Next up was Julio Rodriguez, the face of the Mariners, the heartbeat of Seattle. On the very first pitch, Rodriguez swung, and sent a high fly to deep right. For a moment, everyone thought it was gone. But the ball died just short of the wall, caught by Springer. 1 out. Then came Ty France. Romano fired a slider that caught too much of the plate, and France lined it into left for a single. The tying run was now in scoring position. Seattle fans were on their feet, chanting, screaming, willing their team to one more miracle. Romano took a deep breath and faced Eugenio Suarez. The count ran to 2-2. The tension was unreal. Romano unleashed a 98 miles per hour heater, and Suarez swung through it. Strike 3. 2 outs. Now it all came down to one man, J.P. Crawford. The veteran shortstop had been clutch all series, the quiet leader of the Mariners clubhouse. On a 1-1 pitch, he connected, a sharp liner toward right center. Springer sprinted, dove, and made the catch of the season. Full extension, glove outstretched, crashing into the grass. Game over. The Blue Jays were headed to the World Series. The Blue Jays dugout erupted, players spilling onto the field, hugging and shouting with pure emotion. Springer's teammates mobbed him in the outfield. Guerrero lifted his arms to the sky, shouting in triumph. For the first time in over 3 decades, Toronto had won the American League pennant. The Mariners players stood quietly, stunned but proud. Julio Rodriguez, eyes glassy, tipped his cap to the fans, who responded with a standing ovation. It was heartbreak in Seattle, but also pride in how far they had come, pride in a team that fought every inning of every game. As the Blue Jays celebrated with champagne in the clubhouse, their manager spoke of resilience, teamwork, and belief. "We've been through ups and downs," he said, "but these guys never stopped believing. This is what it's all about." Bo Bichette, the series MVP, smiled as reporters surrounded him. "We wanted this," he said. "We knew it wasn't going to be easy, but this is what we play for." Toronto's going to the World Series. Outside, thousands of Blue Jays fans who had made the trip to Seattle celebrated in the streets, singing, waving flags, and chanting the team's name. Across Canada, fans stayed up late, tears in their eyes, reliving every moment of this incredible journey. For the Mariners, it was an ending filled with both heartbreak and hope. Their young core, Rodriguez, Raleigh, Gilbert, had proven they belonged on the biggest stage. They fell just short, but the city knew they'd be back. As the stadium lights dimmed and the players left the field, the echoes of that final out lingered in the cool Seattle night. A reminder of how thin the line between victory and defeat can be, and how baseball, in all its beauty and cruelty, captures it perfectly. The Blue Jays had done it. Against all odds, they conquered the chaos, silenced the crowd, and claimed their ticket to the World Series. One unforgettable night, one unforgettable game, a Game 5 for the ages.